What's up everyone, I'm Frovlax and today I'm trying to Nuzlocke Pokémon Platinum with only water types. So, the rules for this challenge are: play the game in set mode, no items in battle besides eld items, no overleveling, if a Pokémon faints, it needs to be boxed, and I can only use one water-type Pokémon per route. If you want, check the description for more detailed rules. Water types are one of the most commons in the Pokémon games, so this will give us a great variety of Pokémon to use in this run. Some of them are actually very good, but Pokémon Platinum has some really hard boss battles, so don't go think this is gonna be a walk in the park. I'm definitely expecting a challenge here, but let's just jump into the game and see if we can win this run. Our starter choice for this challenge is obviously gonna be Piplup, and our first battle takes forever because Turtwig decided to max out its defense, but we end up winning with only 2 HP left. Now we can name our starter, that clearly looks like Private, and we can officially start the run. We grabbed a Bidoof on Route 201, but we won't use it until it evolves, and on Route 204 we fish for a Magikarp that we named Flappy. Now it's time to battle Barry again, and since Starly lowered our attack, we just spam Bubble, finishing the battle on a sliver. Before the first gym, we have one last encounter inside Oreburg Gate, and it's a Psyduck that we named Daisy. And now it's time to fight Roark, the first gym leader, and I know what you guys are thinking. This is a rock type gym, and we are using water types, so this must be an easy battle. Well, you are wrong. We take care of Geodude and Onix with Bubble from Private, but Cranidos has an incredible attack stat, and it also outspeeds us, and with Headbutt he can two-shot all of my Pokémon. So we use Growl 3 times, and then we swap for Daisy that disables the Headbutt to ensure we could win, and we finish him with 2 Water Guns, but as you can see, we only have 6 HP left. Just like I told you, this wasn't easy at all. It's time to head to the Valley Windworks, where we get our next encounter, Kami the Weasel. We also evolve Private into Prinplup, and now it's time to face Team Plasma, and Commander Mars is no joke. She ruins a lot of Nuzlockes. We start with Weasel against her Zubat, and we use Swift, but she goes for Toxic, and we got poisoned. We go for Swift again, leaving him on red health while taking a bite, but we finish it with one last Swift. Now she uses her overfed cat Perugly, and that thing it's hard, but I'm sure she'll go for Fake Out and I know we can take it, but that was a really close call. Now it's time to send out Private, but we take a lot of damage from Scratch, so we just use Growl 4 times in a row while taking scratches from that cat. And when we are finally low on health, we swap for Daisy. We just spam Water Gun now and hope for the best. Luckily, we got a crit on the third one, but she recovers thanks to an Orange Berry, and we are gonna need 3 more Water Guns to defeat Perugly. But we're able to survive the last scratch from her with just 1 HP left, and use one last Water Gun to win the fight. But all of these battles have been really close. After the battle, we go to Route 205 where we grabbed our next encounter, a Shellos that we named Shelly. And once we've reached the Eternal City, we get the experience share, and with it, we can evolve Bidoof. So let's add a Rufus to the team. We also evolve our Flappy into Gyarados, and now we are ready to challenge the second gym, and this is a tough one. Gardenia starts with Turtwig against our Rufus, and I go with Headbutt trying to get the flinch, and we did. And on the next turn, we finished with another Headbutt. Sharam is out now, and we continue with Headbutt, but we take massive damage from Magical Leaf. We recover a bit thanks to an Orange Berry, but he survives the next Headbutt and with another Magical Leaf brings us to 5 HP. I know Gardenia is going to use a potion, so I go for Headbutt again. And we crit this time, which allows us to defeat Sharam on the next turn with a Plug. But now we have to face her ace Roserade. I'm confident that Gyarados can take her out, but we need a clean switch, so I have to sacrifice someone, and I think Daisy is the best option. Now we can send out Gyarados that hits a critical bite, almost one-shotting her, but she hits the stun spore and we got paralyzed, and on the next turn we got hit by a powerful Grass Knot. Luckily, we didn't get paralyzed and we hit one last bite for the KO, defeating Gardenia and getting the second badge. We immediately go to the Team Galactic building to fight the Commander Jupiter, but this wasn't a hard one. Rufus takes care of Zubat with 2 Headbutts. Next is Tank, and we steal his Citrus Berry with Pluck, but since he used Screech, I don't risk a crit and send in Flappy that easily finishes the job with a couple of bites. We headed to Ardom City where we talked to the lady of the boxing system, and she gave us an Eevee, but I don't have a Water Stone yet, so it's gonna stay in the box for now. It's time to go challenge the next gym, and we have to cross this weird labyrinth where I couldn't see anything, but at least it helped us evolve Kami into Floatzel. And now we are ready to go face Fantina. And this is Kami's time to shine. Crunch one-shots Duskull. She sends out Miss Mages next, that survives the crunch on a sliver and hits hard with Shadow Ball, but we take her down on the next turn. Lastly is Hunter, but it goes down to a crunch crit. This gym was definitely a nice break compared to the last one. We have to go face Barry right away, and we start with Kami against Taravia. It has Intimidate, so our attacks won't do much. We go for Crunch while he uses Double Team. Next, we use Crunch again, and we got hit by Wing Attack, but we just use Swift to guarantee the KO on the next turn. He sends out Groddle now, so we swap for Flappy that finishes him with 2 Dragon Rages. Next is Weasel, but 2 bites were enough to take him down. Lastly is Ponyta, but we easily beat him with a Dragon Rage and a bite, winning is the battle against Barry. On Route 209, we talk to the fisherman that gives us the good rod, which means new encounters, a Goldeen that we named Ariel, and a Barboach, let's call this one Whiskers. And on Solacian Ruins we grabbed a Water Stone and evolve our Namor into Vaporeon, and on the next route we grabbed a Meryl, this is gonna be our Cannonball. And finally we evolve Shelly into Gastrodon and Whiskers into a Wishcash, and after all of these upgrades we are ready for the next gym. So once we reached Veilstone, we go to the 4th gym right away and challenge Maylin, the fighting type trainer. And we start with Flappy against Meditite, that we easily one-shot with Return. Next is Machoke, and we use Return again, but it just goes for focus energy, so we KO him with another Return. Our last Pokemon is Lucario, that uses Force Palm and we got paralyzed, but we do decent damage with Dragon Rage, so we just tank the next 2 Force Palms and we beat Lucario on the 3rd Dragon Rage, defeating Maylin and getting the 4th badge. We go straight to the next gym in Pastoria City. Wait, never mind. Apparently Barry wants to get wrecked again. He starts with Staravia against our Rufus, and we use a few headbutts while tanking a few wing attacks, but now we are both on red health, so I swap for Kami and finish him with Aqua Jet to make sure he doesn't use any Endeavor shenanigans. But next is Groddle, so we immediately send out Flappy, and this is one of the luckiest things that happened to me. He uses Withdraw on the switch, then we use Ice Fang and he misses the Razor Leaf, and on the next turn we freeze him with Ice Fang. So one more attack defeats Groddle while we took 0 damage from that battle. Next is Ponyta, it goes down with 2 returns, and lastly is Weasel, but it also goes down with 2 returns. Now we evolve Private into Empoleon and we go to the move relearner and teach it Swords Dance. It's finally time to face the 5th gym leader, Crusher Wake. He starts with Gyarados, so we chose Namor and he flinched us 3 times in a row with Bite, but since Namor is so tanky, I'm still able to hit 2 Aurora Beams before having to swap out. I send in my Gyarados now, that finishes this Titan duel with 1 return. Next is Quagsire, that knows Rock Tomb, but it doesn't do much damage and it goes down with just 2 Aqua Tails. Wake's last Pokemon is Floatzel, so we send out Private that takes a crunch on the switch. And since Floatzel is doing almost no damage to us, we use Swords Dance 3 times, and we can finish him with just 3 Aqua Jets, winning the 5th badge. We go to the Great Marsh next, where we grabbed our next encounter, a Wooper, that we named Smiles, and as we continue, we met with Cynthia that gave us a secret potion to help the Psyducks that were in the way on Route 210. But once we got there, she shows up. Why didn't she do this herself? She also asked us to deliver something to her grandmother. Wait, are we the protagonists here, or just an errand boy? Anyway, we go to Celestic Town where we get to battle Cyrus for the first time. And he starts with Sneasel against our Kami. We use Aqua Jet, but he goes for Screech, and since I don't want to get hit by a Slash crit and lose Kami, I swap for Rufus, that takes a Slash, but with 1 Rock Smash we KO the Sneasel. Next is Golbat, and we hit 2 headbutts before Poison Fang poisoned us, so I bring back Kami while Cyrus uses an Hyper Potion. We use Water Gun that does very little while tanking an Air Cutter, but on the next turn we go for Crunch and do decent damage, but we got hit with Supersonic. We try Crunch again, but we hit ourselves and Air Cutter bring us to red health, so we have to swap again. This time I send out Private that dodged the Air Cutter and the Supersonic, so we finish Golbat with Brine. The last Pokemon is Murkrow, but 2 Brines are enough to bring him down and defeat Cyrus. Grandma gave us Surf now, and this is huge for our team. It also means new encounters, Kraken the Tentacool, and a Wingull that we named Rookie. We add them to the team and you guessed it, we evolved both of them right away. We headed to Canalave City where we get to battle Barry again. He starts with Staraptor, so we put toxic spikes on the field while he uses Double Team. He also hits us with a powerful takedown, so we have to swap for Private that easily tanks the hit. And with a Metal Claw and a Brine, we defeat it. But next is Heracross, so we have to swap, and I choose Rookie, that one-shots it with Fly. Now, Barry sends out Rapidash, that hits the takedown but goes down with a Surf. Floatzel comes out next, but we are low, so we swap for Rufus, that hits the Headbutt crit to bring him down. Lastly is Torterra, and clearly this is a job for Flappy, that tanks the Razor Leaf and one-shots it with Ice Fang. Now, it's time to go face the Steel-type gym. Byron opens up with Magneton, so obviously I choose Shelly to go first. Magneton crits us with Tri-Attack while we set up the Rain Dance. He uses another Tri-Attack, but we one-shot it with Mud Bomb. Next is Steelix, but we also one-shot it with Surf. Lastly is Bastiodon, but thanks to the rain we are able to one-shot it as well. Okay, I admit it, this gym was a no-brainer. Apparently Team Plasma is blowing up the lakes nearby, so we have to go deal with them. The first one is Commander Saturn in Lake Valor, and he starts with Golbat against our Kraken, but we take care of it with just 2 Surfs. Next is Toxicroak, but it goes down with a Surf crit. Lastly is Bronzor that we also took care with 2 Surfs. Now we go to Lake Verity to face Commander Mars again, but this time she's not that scary. Golbat hits a Haircutter crit while Shelly uses Rain Dance. On the next turn, Golbat crits again and it survives the Surf on 1 HP, but I know that I can take another hit, so we defeat it with Body Slam. Bronzor comes out next, but we one-shot it with Surf. Now it's time to face our cat again, so we send out Flappy that easily tanks her hits and one-shots her with Aqua Tail. We need to cross the snowy area to reach the last lake, but once we get there, Barry ditched us instead of helping us climb, so I might as well go to the next city to fight in the 7th gym. Candy starts with Sneasel against our Private, but since he can't do much to us, we use this opportunity to max out our attack with Swords Dance, so now we one-shot Sneasel with Metal Claw. Next is Piloswine, but we also one-shot it with Aqua Jet. This time, she sends out a Bomb of Snow that sets up the hail, but it goes down with Metal Claw. Lastly is Frostlass, that hits the Shadow Ball and we miss the Metal Claw. I'm on red health now, so I have to swap. And this is scary, cause hail is on the field, which means Blizzard won't miss. I choose Rufus, and luckily she just used Psychic. I use Protect to stall the hail, but she just uses Double Team. Now I have to swap again, and I send out Flappy that takes the Psychic. We used Dragon Dance once, while she kept using Double Team. Luckily, she was just spamming it, so we eventually hit the Aqua Tail that one-shots Frostlass, defeating Candice and getting the 7th badge. Now we can use Rock Climb, so we go meet with Barry at Lake Acuity just to find out that he got beaten up by Commander Jupiter. Well, that wouldn't have happened if he helped me get up there in the first place. At least, now we know that we have to go to their headquarters in Veilstone, where we have to battle Cyrus again. He opens up with Sneasel that goes for Screech and survives the Aqua Tail on a Sliver. He uses an Hyper Potion next and we use a Return to do a chunk of damage. We got it with Ice Punch that does a lot of damage because of the defense drops, but we KO it with one last return. But when Crobat comes out, I have to swap for Private, and we use 2 Swords Dance while it does very little damage with Air Cutters, and now we finish him with just 2 Aqua Jets. Lastly is Hunchcrow, that takes the Aqua Jet and recovers a bit thanks to a Citrus Berry while doing decent damage with Nightshade. And to make sure we KO him without giving him the chance to use an Hyper Potion, we Swords Dance once more, but another Nightshade from Hunchcrow brings us to red health, but we take him out with one last Aqua Jet, defeating Cyrus. I don't know why, but in this game, we have to fight the commander after beating the boss. But okay, Saturn starts with Golbat, but 2 Ice Fangs from Flappy are enough to beat him. Next is Bronzor, but Flappy takes care of him with just 2 Aqua Tails. His last Pokemon is Toxicroak, and we do a bunch of damage with Aqua Tail, but we got hit by a Poison Jab crit that brought us to only 9 HP. I swapped for Private, expecting the Poison Jab, but we got hit by X Scissor. I know he's going to use the fighting move now, so I swap for Shelly, that takes 2 Brick Breaks but finishes Toxicroak with Mud Bomb. Now it's time to go to the Spear Pillar, where we have a double battle with Barry against Commander Jupiter and Mars. But to be honest, this wasn't hard. we put Toxic Spikes on the field, while Bronzors use Reflect and Light Screen. Then we swap for Private. They attack mainly Munchlax, so we spam Swords Dance. And once we are maxed out, we easily take care of the Bronzors and Upper Ugly. But Golbat survived the Aqua Jet and hits us with Confuse Ray. And I'm not risking Private hitting himself at +6 attack, so we swap for Rookie, that just spams Surf, taking down the enemies as well as allies. Sorry Barry, you're just a punching bag today. They barely attacked me in this double battle. After Cyrus summoning Dialga and Palkia, a portal was opened and it looked like he was kidnapped. I'm not sure, so we jump into the hole where we wander in the Distortion world for a bit. And after finding Cyrus, it's time for the last Team Plasma boss battle. It starts with Undo against Shelly. He burned us with Will-O-Wisp and survives the Surf on 1 HP. Cyrus uses an Hyper Potion now, but Surf just brings him back to red health. He did hit us with Dark Pulse, but we finish him with one last Surf. He sends out Gyarados now, and I have no good way of dealing with him, so I send out Rookie, and with a couple of Shockwaves and Roost, I thought this was gonna be an easy battle. But out of nowhere, he hits us with Giga Impact, and I thought Rookie was gone. But to my surprise, he managed to survive on 3 HP and take out Gyarados with one last Shockwave. Now it's time to deal with his Untro, so we send out Flappy, that easily tanks the Heatwave. We go for Dragon Dance next, but he hits hard with Drill Peck. He also survives the Ice Fang on a Sliver, but another one is enough to take him out. Unfortunately, we are low when he sends out Weavile, so we swap for Private, and we tank a few Night Slashes while we buff our attack with 2 Swords Dances. Now we can one-shot it with Metal Claw. Lastly is Crobat, but we quit with Aqua Jet and one-shot it, defeating Cyrus for the last time. And after dealing with Giratina, we headed to Sunyshore City, where we challenge Volkner, the last gym leader. I put it every ground type available on the team for this battle, but Whiskers just one-shots every single Pokemon with Earthquake. Well, that was an anticlimactic last gym, but at least now we got all the 8 badges. We go straight for the Pokemon League now, where we do the last changes to our team. But before fighting the Elite Four, we have to battle our rival one last time. But Barry has a pretty good team now. He starts with Staraptor against Namor, but it just U-turns into Torterra that takes a 4 times effective Ice Beam to the face. Well, that was best case scenario for sure. He sends out Snorlax now, and we use Aqua Ring trying to sustain, but he hits hard with Body Slam. We hit a Surf, but after another Body Slam, we are forced to swap for Flappy to intimidate it. We Dragon Dance once while we keep taking damage from Body Slam, and on the next turn we go for Waterfall, but he survives on a Sliver, so we have to take another Body Slam before finishing him with one last Waterfall. Now we have to face Heracross, and I swap for Rookie because I know that I can take one Rock Slide, and I thought I was faster, but he outspeeds us, and we got hit with another Rock Slide. Luckily, Rookie survived on 3 HP, but it got flinched, so we have to swap again. This time, I release the Kraken that easily tanks the Aerial Ace and deals with Heracross with an Hydro Pump and a Surf. Staraptor shows up again, but 2 Sludge Bombs from Kraken are enough to bring him down. Next is Rapidash, but Kraken one-shots it with a Surf. Lastly is Floatzel, but we send out Shelly that deals with him with just 2 Earthquakes. And now, with Barry out of the way, we can finally fight in the Pokemon League. The first Elite Four member is Aaron, the Bug-type trainer, and he uses Yanmega first, but since we have Flappy up front, you can guess my strategy. We use Dragon Dance 5 times, while Yanmega just spams Double Team, but even after he boosts his evasiveness 5 times, we still manage to hit a Waterfall on the first try. I don't know how that happened, but as you can imagine, having Gyarados at +5 attack means we can easily one-shot every member of his team, defeating the first member of the Elite Four. Now we have to face Bertha, but she only uses ground types, and it starts with Wishcash, so we open up with Namor that brings him down with just 2 Surfs. The next one is Gliscor that we easily one-shot with an Ice Beam. She sends out Golem now that goes down to Surf. Rhyperior gets the same treatment, and lastly is Hippowdon, but you guessed it, it is also a one-shot with a Surf. Well, the first half of the Elite Four was pretty easy. Flint, the Fire-type trainer, is the next one we have to face, and he opens up with Andum that uses Sunny Day, but Shelly one-shots it with an Earthquake crit. Next is Rapidash, that has Solar Beam, so we send out Rookie to tank it. We got hit by a second one before we use Fly, and I'm sure I can take another hit, so I swap for Flappy. That easily tanks the Flare Blitz, and we set up Dragon Dance while taking a second hit. But now we can finish it with Waterfall. Flint uses the Infernape now, but we cannot speed it thanks to the Dragon Dance, so we hit a Waterfall to KO it. The next one is Magmortar, but we one-shot it with a Waterfall. And Flint's last Pokemon is Flareon, that we also take care with a Waterfall. Now it's time to face the last Elite Four member, Lucian. And this one is a lot harder than the previous ones. It starts with Mr. Mime against Private that learns Shadow Claw just for this battle. He uses Light Screen, but Shadow Claw does way more damage than I thought, and we one-shot it. Now he sends out Gallade, his ace, and I know I can take a hit, so we tank the Drain Punch and we luck out on the crit Shadow Claw for the one-shot. Next is Alakazam, and I completely forgot he had Focus Blast. Luckily for us, he missed, otherwise Private would be dead. He survived the Shadow Claw on the Sliver, but since I know he'll use a full restore, I go for another Shadow Claw that crits and brings down Alakazam. Next is Bronzong, so we send out Flappy to dodge the Earthquake, and since I have no good way of dealing with him, I Dragon Dance 3 times, while taking a few Psychics, and now we can finish him with Waterfall. Lastly is Espeon, but we also one-shot it with Waterfall, giving us the victory against the Elite Four. This is it. It's time to face Cynthia, the champion that gives nightmares to every Nuzlocker. But with our team, I think we have a pretty good chance of winning. Cynthia starts with Spiritomb, and it knows Psychic, but I still lead with Kraken because I know he can tank it. So I used Toxic Spikes twice, but the second Psychic critted and left us on 16 HP, so we are forced to switch for Private that takes very little damage from Shadow Ball and uses Stealth Rock. But Spiritomb doesn't do much, so we bring it down with 2 Flash Cannons. Next, she sends out the monster itself, Garchomp, so we immediately swap for Flappy to dodge the Earthquake. She uses Dragon Rush that has a bit of damage, but with a 4 times effective Avalanche, we take out Garchomp. Togekiss comes out now and it hits the Shockwave, but Flappy is a beast and survives it on 10 HP and one-shots it with Avalanche. She sends out Lucario now, so we swap for Shelly that tanks the Extreme Speed and an Aura Sphere before hitting the Earthquake to take out Lucario. Now we have to face the Roserade, and I send out Rookie, but it takes way too much damage from Energy Ball, and I can't swap out now, so I'm gonna have to sacrifice him to make a clean switch. And this time, I send out Namor, and Roserade uses Toxic, leaving us poisoned. She also survives the Ice Beam on a Sliver. But since Cynthia is gonna use a full restore now, we go for Ice Beam again, and we freeze her, so with another Ice Beam, we take her out. Her last Pokemon is Milotic, and we are not in the clear yet. I have no good way of dealing with her, and my ult team is pretty low. So we just keep using Shadow Ball with Namor until we lose him to a Miracle. We send out Private now, and we use Shadow Claw hoping to get the crit, but it never happens, so after taking a couple of surfs, I have no other option than to sacrifice Private. This way, Shelly can survive one surf and hit the Earthquake to defeat Milotic. And just like that, we became the Sinnoh champion. We did get a bunch of encounters during this run, which made things a little bit easier for us, but we still had to deal with some really hard battles. But I admit that our team was just too good. Starting with Gyarados. That thing is a monster. I didn't want to use it for this, but I had to reset the run 2 times back when I was fighting Gardenia because I wasn't using it. So this was my only answer for it. But the next challenge, I will do something a little bit more difficult, I promise. Thank you so much for watching this video, I really appreciate you all. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, comment and share it with a friend. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!